There's a video here by a person called AX called Hoyoverse is becoming too greedy. Now, this video was released 4 months ago. So this was before any known information about like the new end game, which a lot of people are now saying Hoyoverse is becoming greedy for. I'm very curious what this video even is, because this is for Hoyoverse in general. This is for Hoyo in general. Not just Genshin, not just Star Rail, not just ZZZ. It's just that. So I'm curious. Let's see what he has to say.
I noticed that recently.
And I'll obviously give my own thoughts and opinions as we go along this video to see if I agree or disagree.
Hoyoverse has been taking a different approach to the way they handle their monetization, and while it has been brewing for a long time, just recently it has seemed they might be going a little too far with it. So I wanted to make a video.
I'm assuming the going too far with it, if this was 4 months ago, is about Star Rail, right?
About it.
But
this
we'll
is my
see.
first video in this style, so I want to know what you guys think about it. Before we start, I need to lay out what type of player I am.
Okay.
I am max level in both Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact.
Impressive. I am not max level in Honkai Star Rail, I don't think, even to this day.
I have completed all the endgame. I typically pull just a character and sometimes their weapon. I have a few dupes of some characters, and I have one C6, that being Hu Tao.
Okay, so this guy is basically playing the same way that I am, at least for Genshin, right? I have 2 limited C6s. Obviously, I have limited, not limited C6s like Diluc and stuff. But that's from getting mainly unlucky in the standard banner. A lot of it was standard banner. So this guy plays pretty much the same as me, pulling for characters that he wants weapons sometimes, and only a couple or one limited C6.
I buy the Welkin and the Battle Pass in both games,
Nice.
but I've recently stopped buying the Battle Pass in Genshin because
I've stopped buying anything in Genshin.
I just don't really need it anymore.
Yeah, exactly the same as me, bro. I stopped getting the Welkin, I stopped getting the Battle Pass, and I've stopped topping up in Genshin, period.
I'm not against spending money in any of these games, but over time I felt the want to do so much less unless I really like that character.
Bro, I'm glad I'm not the only one, but even if I really like the character, I'd rather just wait. And honestly, this is going to sound crazy, dude, but since I've gone down this approach of just not spending money in the game, like I still spend on gachas, I spent on fucking Wuwa, right? But my Genshin account does not need any more characters. Even if there's a character that I really, really like, if I don't get them, like if I save and I don't get them, I don't think I'd feel that bad. I really don't.
And watching Hoyoverse get a lot more daring with their monetization over time has made that a lot worse.
Okay. Curious. Oh, the bang of music, though. Honkai Star Rail Part 1. Okay,
Now,
so we're delving into HSR.
I really do think Honkai Star Rail did start out as a generous game. They gave out a lot of pulls on launch, much more than Genshin Impact, and had a lot of people were very happy about that.
Nice.
In the first few months of the game, you didn't have to pull light cones since they were nothing but stat boosts. The only thing you had to worry about was getting some elemental coverage, which doesn't really matter anymore. You could have fun running your Dylan Fall of an Aeon and still clearing with no issues.
Fair.
In Honkai
I don't even remember the end game at the start of HSR, to be honest. I do remember, what's it called? One of the first end games that we got, where you go through it, you select the card and go through and get different buffs and stuff. They're really unique. I can't remember the fucking name. Simulated Universe. Yeah, I do remember playing Simulated Universe and really enjoying it. I actually thought Sim Uni was very, very fun.
Star Rail appeared even more generous with the release of Dr. Ratio,
Yep.
who was completely free and didn't require you to pull him at all.
Indeed.
He was also the beginning of the famous Genshin Can Never meme, which in hindsight was kind of stupid, but it was also kind of correct. Because
it was just funny as well.
to this day, we have never gotten a free limited 5-star in Genshin Impact. This generosity...
Wait, that's true. Actually, not true. We got the Traveler. And some people got Aloy as well.
seemed to slow down a lot with the release of Penacony and especially Acheron in 2.1. If you were to ask me what character I thought was the most harmful to Honkai Star Rail's game state...
Oh, let me guess. It's got to be Acheron, right? It's got to be Acheron.
Acheron would be my answer 99% of the time. I could honestly probably make a whole video about her impact on the game alone.
Yep.
Not only did she kick off the insane damage bloat, but she also had a very, very broken light cone. Now, if you don't...
I don't even remember her light cone. I don't even think I pulled for it, but she's still goated without it. Maybe I did pull for it. I don't remember.
No, Acheron really likes debuffs. Her
Yep.
team needs to get 9 of them so she can launch a very powerful ultimate.
Exactly.
The bulk of her damage. Her light cone gives 2 stacks on her ult instead of 1, along with a big damage boost and crit damage. It is probably the single biggest jump between S0 and S1 in the game.
Okay, that's kind of crazy. Maybe, yeah, I need to check if I did pull for the light cone.
I have such an issue with this light cone, as well as a few other light cones, is because it locks her ability to use her kit behind it. If we look at older units, most...
Does it? Does it lock the ability to use her kit behind it? I don't think it locks it, but it makes it easier to utilize her kit and require less. But I think saying it locks the ability to use her kit behind it is disingenuous.
of them did not do that. They simply gave stat bonuses instead.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, by the way. I just think I think it's disingenuous to say it literally locks the kit behind it.
Look at Jing Yuan's light cone. It gives an insane amount of stats and is a pretty universal option for a lot of Erudition characters.
Yeah, it's very good.
I like light cones like that.
I do have Jing Yuan's.
But Acheron's light cone is game-changing. This is very much a situation of creating the problem and selling you the solution. If they're going to do this, why don't they just make the weapon banner guaranteed?
Money!
Understandable. Yeah, I do think that's definitely a very valid point to make. If you're going to make the light cones that good, then yeah, sure. Kind of like Wuwa, right? Wuwa weapons at this point are kind of, again, not becoming necessary, but becoming definitely like by far best in slot options for characters. But there's no 50-50. You're guaranteed, so it doesn't feel as bad in my opinion.
See the issue with that if they want to make light cones borderline required for certain units. And I don't think this would lose them money either. If anything, I
think it'd make them make more money, if I'm being honest, if they made it guaranteed. Maybe that's not the case, especially with whales, like going to get max copies, but I don't think it'd be a huge chunk out of their profits if they made it not 50-50.
I wouldn't be surprised if it actually increased player spending, because then they would have the security knowing they can get the weapon with no drawbacks.
Exactly. I think more people would be willing to spend their money on the weapon banner if they knew that they were going to get the weapon after X amount of pulls and it's 50% less.
Wuthering Waves already has it and everybody loves it. So
it's 75-25, not 50-50. Hey, guys, if it's not guaranteed, it's 50-50.
I don't really do it here. Another problem is now they're trying to sell you the character and light comp package and or the entire team comp instead of just the character. You wanted to play Break? Well, you need to get Ranmei and Firefly, who are both running at the same time. You wanted to play Follow-Up? Hopefully you have enough for Fei Xiao and Robin, because they're both running at the same time or
I have neither.
Right after each other. Maybe if I wasn't greedy and stupid, it wouldn't be an issue, but while I am glad the reruns are faster now, it's kind of a bit much. Personally, I would have liked it if we just got the one set of 3 like we did back in 2.5. But when you have 8 characters...
This was fucking crazy to me. This is for the anniversary, right?
Running in one patch, including 2 new characters, and still not being given enough J's to even guarantee one is, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think with the generosity that Honkai Star Rail had in the past, I think one of the biggest problems with this wasn't even necessarily the putting 8 characters on banners during that patch. It was the patch before the anniversary. Okay. To be fair, in the end, more reruns are a good thing. If they kept it up like this with 8 characters per patch, then yes, but they don't do that, right? I could be wrong. I think people's biggest problem is them putting 8 banner characters during a patch and then not giving enough currency to even get one of them guaranteed. That's the biggest problem. At the end of the day, bro, players aren't entitled to anything, but it sure feels better when the company that's shoving 8 characters in your face, no matter what game it is also at the same time like, here's enough currency to at least get one of those characters, you know? Like, their goal by putting 8 banners out isn't, like, players shouldn't think I need to pull all 8 of these characters, but they should at least have a chance to guarantee one of them if you're putting 8 characters in front of them, I feel like. Is that a crazy take? Maybe that's too entitled from me. But, like, give me your honest thoughts. I don't know.
And not to mention the power creep, where your characters fall to irrelevancy very quickly. This game's generosity is a facade. Think about it like this. If your game gives out 150 pulls, but you need 150 of them to keep out the end game, then are you really generous?
Generous is such a weird word to use for this, but let me keep listening.
And I feel like recently in 3.0, all of this came around together in one big pile of dog shit. Every character rerunning was meta, except for Silverwolf, probably because Hoyo fucking hates her. The Herda is another example of blatant power creep, so yay.
I managed to get E1 the Herda, literally, like, I don't pull for all the characters in the game, just the ones that I enjoy playing, because I barely play the game. So I pulled the Herda, really liked her, built her in a fucking day, and then, I was like, do I save for the next character since I know the next character is probably going to be meta as well, or do I just pull for E1? And I was like, fuck it, I'll just pull for E1, and I'm happy with it.
I'm sure she will require her light cone by the time her rerun comes around.
I also got the light cone.
Then we got Aglia.
Didn't top up, though.
She's a very good character. I even 0 cycled with her.
Damn.
Now I can impress my 21.7% female viewer ratio. She wants Sunday. That's understandable. But what I have a problem with is her E1. Her E1 gives her 20 energy on hit, and she wants all the energy she can get. She still works without it, but I hate it when they lock what should have been in their base kit behind Idolons. What Idolons and Constellation should be is quality of life features and just damage increases, not removing the bullshit that Hoyoverse puts into their kit on purpose.
This kind of gives me like Hu Tao vibes, right? It's like her C1 basically makes her feel playable. At least in my opinion. I've always had this thought, and it's the same with a couple of characters as well. Also, maybe Wriothesley as well, but I don't know enough about Wriothesley's kit right now. But Hu Tao, bro, you play Hu Tao at C0, it feels so fucking slow and cringe. It's like you do the charge attacks and get decent damage off, and then you have no stamina left to dodge or do anything else. Her C1 basically makes her feel like a playable character. It feels like you kind of need the C1 to make her feel good, because then you're not running out of stamina just from doing the basic stuff that her kit is meant to be used for, right? I don't know about other characters, but I stand firm on the Hu Tao stance.
It once again feels like yet another example of creating the problem and selling the solution.
Yep.
And another issue I've noticed is a lack of viable 4-stars. We have very few 4-stars that are actually good and used often.
Yeah, this is a crazy thing with Honkai Star Rail, right? The 4-star epidemic, dude.
Out of the 20 plus 4-stars in the game, I can count the good ones on one hand. And that is a problem when 4-stars make up 34% of the roster. At least in Genshin, you have characters like Bennett and Shin.
Wait, is that a Wuwa thing actually? Not which, bro, I don't even know at this point. Which game is it that has a literal 4-star epidemic where 4-stars are just not getting released anymore? It is HSR, right? I thought it was HSR. HSR? Okay, when was the last 4-star character released in HSR? 1 year? Nah. 2.5 Mo's? Almost a year ago. Bro, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, that's bad. That's
Joe
bad.
Are still amazing to this day. But there's nothing like that in Star Rail, and I can feel it when there's a grand total of 1 4-star I use on a daily basis. And the 4-star problem is amplified even farther when you realize that we only got 2 new banner 4-stars in all of 2024.
Damn! What the hell, dude? So in like a year and a half, there's been 2 4-stars?
We have no new Amphore's 4-star in the drip marketing as of now, meaning that the earliest our next 4-star could be is around 5.3, which is around June. That's bad. So now it's not only a problem of the lack of viable 4-stars, but it's also a problem of not having any new 4-stars. Like, look at this selector.
That's kind of funny, dude. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, this shit is so ass. These are just some of the reasons why I kind of don't like pulling for newer characters much anymore, because then I know that if I don't get everything for them, and there's no 4-star replacement, then put me in the corner of a hotel room and call me Sneeko, because I am getting cut. But
I like this guy, dude.
as greedy as
Jesus.
Honkai Star Rail is becoming, I don't think it's as bad as Genshin Impact.
Wait, really? Not as bad. I actually thought Honkai Star Rail would be worse, to be honest. Let me see where he's going to go with this. Considering this was 4 months ago before Stiggy and Onslaught, I thought Honkai Star Rail would be worse. Let's see.
That's right, Genshin. You aren't safe for me. I've noticed ever since the beginning of Natlan, they've been getting pretty bold with their monetization. But that doesn't mean it wasn't there before. There was a weapon banner not having weapon charting. Luckily, we did get it fixed.
Yes.
Hail Tech Zone. There's also
Don't say that. You'll get the mob coming for you, bro.
characters like Hu Tao who really wants her C1.
I told you. I did not pre-watch. I swear to fucking God, bro. She is just... I dead-ass think she is the exact epitome of creating a problem to sell the solution. C1 is just C0 Hu Tao is what it should be.
Trust me, I've played C0 and C1, and yeah, C1 does make her a lot easier to play.
It just makes her feel like a normal fucking character instead of a character that is held down by her own gimmick.
But as the game aged, things started to change.
Okay.
Throughout Fontaine, we got characters like Wriothesley who really do like a C1, but Natlan, oh boy. Natlan brought it to a whole new level.
Wait, really? And listen, to be totally fair, it's like obviously I pull for C6 by Weaker. C6 by Weaker is fucking unhinged, broken. But C0 is also really, really good. Does Natlan have the problem? I don't know about other character cons, to be honest. 'Cause I haven't pulled for them. The other Natlan characters have insanely good constellations.
They made pretty much every Natlan unit insane for exploration, but only in Natlan. So unless you want to use your Shalom and roller skates for a grand total of 3 seconds, you aren't going anywhere outside of Natlan.
Fair.
But if you do want to use them for exploration outside of Natlan, then you need to shell out another $300 because a lot of the Natlan characters have their Nightsoul usage reduced outside of combat in their C1s.
Oh, interesting. I actually did not know about that. Wow, wait. That is very interesting. That is very interesting. To be fair, and I will say this. I will say this. People complain about these characters' exploration skills all the fucking time. Bro, I would say the vast majority of these exploration skills are fucking dog shit. They feel so bad. Pretty much all of Mawika's exploration kit feels fucking terrible, to be honest. We also have Wanderer who can do basically what fucking Chaska does, but better anyway, outside of Natlan. We have Farina that can endlessly fucking walk on water at this point, which is way better than Mualani's swimming, in my opinion. Xilonen is probably like the only good one that you can use outside of Natlan anyway. But even then, just fucking use your land. Or something, right? Or Sayu. Just fucking use Sayu. Like, I don't like the fact that they're locked behind constellations and by the characters' kits. I don't like that. But they're just not as good as people make them out to be. I will stand by that. I think pretty much all of these characters feel so shit to play outside of Natlan anyway, even with the
meaning more
cons
exploration.
Probably.
They also added the new Night Soul mechanics on all of the characters. With that, you really want to play Natlan use in order to take full advantage of the Hero of Cinder City set. I won't go into too much detail about all the characters, otherwise this video would be way too long. But there's one character in specific.
Kanichi is good everywhere. This might be a hot take, bro. I think Kanichi feels like shit to play, period.
That made this all just feel so much worse. And that character's not other than the Archon of the...
It's like, yeah, Kanichi is good everywhere except in combat. I don't want to piss off the Kanichi lovers, bro, but I just do not like his playstyle at all. I feel like it feels so fucking clunky. It's unbelievable.
Mavwika. I don't like Mavwika's kit.
Fair.
Now, typically, Archons will take advantage of the unique mechanics that they bring in.
Skill issue? No, it's just very unfun to play. It's not even skill issue. Like, I've tried. And he is a good unit in terms of damage. He just feels like shit to me.
The region. Think of Nahida with Dendro or Farina with the HP drain.
Okay.
And Mavwika is no exception to this. But the issue here is that Mavwika is a DPS. She can work as a sub-DPS support, but main DPS is where she shines.
True.
Meaning that the team
You never played Mualani? Yes, I did. What?
Is made to support her. Mavwika needs stacks of Fighting Spirit in order to launch a burst nuke, and Fighting Spirit charges faster using Night Soul points.
Mualani is way worse? Yeah, I never said she wasn't.
This means that she requires Natlan use in order to fully function properly. She works okay without them, but she heavily wants them. Mavwika is a lot like a shonen protagonist.
Okay.
While she might be kind of strong on her own, when she gets the power of friendship on her side, she becomes unbeatable. This is basically the equivalent of if Farina's buffs only worked on Fontaine characters. I think you can see why that's a problem.
Well, yes, 100%. But I think the Genshin community in a nutshell will always complain no matter what. Because people complained when Farina came out because she was too broken. She changed the whole game. She became a tier 0 character because she literally buffs pretty much anybody that you get. So people are just not going to be happy either way. People are not going to be happy. I think it's fair to not be happy either way. But the point is here, you're just never going to fucking please everybody. It's never going to be a thing.
Imagine you skipped early Natlan use for Mavwika, and then you find out that she needs them to be at her best.
Yep.
But don't worry, the game is nice to you, you see. They give you a free Kachina to play with your Mavwika.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I can't be the only person who feels like them giving us these bad characters out for free almost feels like an insult at this point.
I don't think so. To be fair, I think the reason that they give us these bad characters for free is that so we at least have an option if we don't pull on any of the banners, right? People need an option to progress through certain parts of the story, certain parts of the content. Like, you just have to kind of have it as an option.
But if you don't want to play Kachina, and I can't blame you because she's not too good,
True.
Don't worry. There's another Natlan character that's running on banner too that works perfectly with Mavwika, Sit Lolly.
Yep.
But there is a little problem.
What?
Hoyo decided to run both of these brand new characters on the same banner phase.
Yep.
This was the first time in Genshin history this has happened.
Oh god, was it? Was that the case? Was it the first? Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it? Usually it's the limited character and a rerun, and then in the second half, it is limited rerun again.
And to add insult to injury, the Lantern Right Reward...
Trying to remember, I blocked this out of my memory, bro, because I did say that this... listen, I was a hypocritical fuck back here. I was.
Which were in the second phase. Meaning you lost all of those because Dawei needed to buy a 6th yacht.
Yeah.
The right rewards were in the second phase. Meaning you lost all of those because Dawei needed to buy a 6th yacht.
That was a crazy decision to make, bro. That was a crazy decision to make.
This was one of the scummiest things Hoyoverse has ever done. You know?
Okay, actually, let me start from the beginning, for those of you unaware. A year and a half ago, before Natlan came out, I'm pretty sure it was, I went to TwitchCon EU. At TwitchCon EU, it was dog shit. Absolutely terrible. So after the convention, we went for drinks and food outside, and we were having some drinks. And around this time is when the very popular Twitter account went viral called Cheetan. It's a Japanese mascot that does some unhinged shit. I said as a joke, because I love red-haired pyro characters, I was like, if Cheetan replies to this tweet, I will C6 the pyro Archon when they're released. And they replied to it. They were like, do it, with a funny tweet. So I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'll do it. It's a fun engagement thing, right? Then this happened. like the patch before, months after. So in my head at this point, I quote retweeted this and I was like, yeah, put in all of the rewards second half when you put in the 2 main banner characters first half does feel a little bit counterintuitive, alluding obviously to the fact that it is predatory. Gacha's predatory in a fucking nutshell. But I did say that. And then because I made the tweet, in my head at the time, bro, I was like, people are going to have a problem with me either way, whether I either break the promise because a lot of people commented on that shit, or just pull the character. People are going to be bothered either way. So I just decided to pull the character. Terrible decision, by the way, because it is supporting this behavior, which I do not condone or support. But that was hypocritical as fuck of me, and I regret doing it. I regret doing it now. I do always say, though, would I go back and change it? No, because honestly, I feel like I would not be the same person today if you don't make mistakes and learn from it. And I feel like I am a much better person now after making that mistake and like owning up to it and taking accountability than I would have been if I have just not done that. It is what it is. Shit happens. You learn from it. You move on. You own that shit. And that's what I did.
Rewards were in the second phase, meaning you lost all of those because Dawei needed to buy a 6th yacht.
And now I don't spend on the game at all.
This was one of the scummiest things Hoyoverse has ever done.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of wanted to pull from Mabika because she's really fucking hot.
God damn.
This decision was so bad I couldn't do it. This isn't the first time I've skipped characters because I don't agree with the price point or the practices, and this won't be the last.
Fair. Yeah, me
I
too.
can tell they wanted to milk as much money out of us, and that was just disappointing, to be honest. It's weird because last year, the internet was broken over 3 polls, but then when this happens, I barely saw anybody talking about it. And
Oh, there was a lot of people talking about it. I was the brunt of that for quite a long time, but there were plenty of people talking about
greed
it.
isn't only on the characters, it's also extending to the enemies too.
The problem comes when it's 2 different kinds of betrayal to the Hoyo community, right? Because a lot of people will still just pull for these characters no matter what. And if the characters are good and they're there, then that's just a good thing to them, whether they're getting the pulls or not, because they'll just spend the money. However, then when the company's not giving them enough stuff, period, like the 3 wishes, a lot of people said that wasn't enough for the Lantern Right announcement, whatever it was. That's different because it's not them releasing a character, it's them saying thank you for playing our game, here's 3 pulls. It just feels different. It's a different kind of like backhand from the company, I guess.
These new abysses have enemies that want Night Soul to break their shields. This shit was so annoying.
But Hoyoverse isn't the only company that does it. Look in Wuwa Anniversary, for example. So singling Hoyoverse out is really something. I mean, this video is about Hoyoverse, to be fair. He does go over Wuthering Waves here as well, probably about some stuff. But yeah, this video is about Hoyoverse. It could be just about gacha games in general, but then it'd have to be a much broader topic and longer than a 13-minute long video, right? So I think it's fine to single out Hoyoverse when talking about Hoyoverse games. He's probably only knowledgeable about Hoyoverse stuff as well, but we'll see. This video was also before the Wuwa Anniversary. Also true, it was 4 months ago, so this was before the Wuwa Anniversary.
I had to bust out my benched Arlecchino to hopefully normal attack it until it died.
Yep.
I can probably make a whole video on the shortcomings of Natlin, and their newer approach to the way they monetize their game just made it so much worse. I do like Genshin, but man, these decisions are just getting worse and worse. As for Zenless Zone Zero, I don't really think it has any issues with greed yet. I've lost more gallons to that game than I have dollars, so I'm not really worried. I will say the Wenjins are getting kind of ridiculous, and there might be a bigger issue with power creep if we keep going higher than Miyabi, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Now I know I've received comments about how it's a gacha game, and of course it's greedy and it's crossing into predatory, and you're right. Gacha games being greedy is about as common as chips and salsa at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, gacha games are inherently predatory, right? That is just a grand consensus. The entire design purpose and philosophy of gacha games is like a predatory nature and greed.
Of course companies want to make money, but what's also important is how they do it. From what I've seen, Hoyo tends to skirt a fine line between being just generous enough to keep people somewhat satisfied, but not satisfied enough to the point where they don't want to spend money on it. And while this makes sense, it feels like they've been more on the stingy side of things as of late. If they go too much in a negative direction, while it might benefit them in the short term, I really don't think people stick around it for the long term. Except the Hoyo shills, of course. And we've seen clear examples
Hell yeah. Proud Hoyo shell / Kuro bot / defender of everything I love and hate, and oppressor of everything I love and hate, according to Twitter.
Games that are much more fair with their monetization and respect their players, and they have a very dedicated fan base.
Yep.
Take Wuthering Waves, for example. As much as people want to pit the fandoms against each other, WoW fans love the game for good reason, myself included. The weapon banner is guaranteed, and the pity is 80 instead of 90. You can buy dupes in the shop. I can't speak for everyone, but I am much more willing to spend money on that game because I know it's a lot more reasonable. I may sound like a curlbot for this, but if giving a game its sweet flowers and mint is being a curlbot, then I guess I'm a curlbot.
In all fairness, bro, I'm not a Kurobot or a Hoyo shell. I love when Hoyoverse do good shit. I love when Kuro do good shit. I'm more likely to spend on Wuwa than any Hoyo game, just because I feel like the devs do listen. They still fuck up, of course, but they also do listen, and I want to support the game as well by spending money, right?
I know this video is probably going to be a bit controversial, but I really hope Hoyoverse and
sure.
monetization does better.
Not that Wuwa doesn't have its downfalls, by the way. Of course it does. And again, this whole argument of it's still a gacha game. Yeah, it applies to Wuwa as well. It applies to all gacha games. But it is inherently a little bit less predatory with the pity systems and everything like that, and the fact that you can buy dupes in the shop and stuff as well. The anniversary was a whole different ball game. That still wasn't that good, in my opinion, in terms of the original anniversary before the backlash and before they fixed it. Still, it's just a very different hemisphere compared to Hoyo. Hoyo's been around a lot longer and has multiple games to go for as well. And I'll just keep it a buck here. This is not shitting on PGR at all. But the only two, like, popular games that Kuro has right now, at least that I know of, and a lot of people know of, is PGR and Wuwa, and not many people really talk about PGR at the minute. And I think a big reason why PGR did not do as good as some of the other gacha games at the time was because of Kuro's marketing at the time. It was a big worry when Wuthering Waves was coming out that Kuro was not going to market the game enough so it wouldn't attract the right audience. And I think they nailed it with Wuwa. However, PGR... it just didn't get the same level of marketing and attention, and a lot of PGR fans were actually kind of upset about that as well. But yeah, I think Wuwa's just good. It's on the same level now as Genshin and HSR, right? It's one of the big three, in my opinion. So the game basically promotes itself through CCs, through the community, through fucking Hoyo shells and Kurobots. Like the promotion's just there. The marketing is always there now. They can just sit back and watch the flowers bloom. But they're still pumping out banger content just like Hoyo are. Listen, again, the new Genshin teaser was fucking 10 out of 10. Absolutely incredible. I loved it. I wouldn't change a single fucking thing other than show us a few more scenes of Renova, you know? Just saying. And then Wuwa's latest patch was fucking incredible as well, bro. Lupa's Resonator Showcase, 10 out of 10. I fucking loved it. It was amazing. The music was next level. Both games are doing phenomenal things right now.
They're going forward.
Phenomenal things.
I want a guaranteed weapon banner. I want more viable 4-stars. I want to have parts of kits not locked behind Idolons or light cones. I've seen people say that these games should be void of criticism because it's a gacha game or it's free. This is completely false. This company is worth billions of dollars. And if anything, they should be held to the highest criticism possible.
Yep.
And the thing is, this company is what other games would look towards for a successful gacha game, meaning that all the stupid things that Hoyo puts in their game, case in point, the 50-50 on weapons, could end up in other games by other companies. And as a player, I don't want to have to deal with that in every other game that I play. Luckily, Wuthering Waves significantly improved it, and there are other games out there too with good gachas, and I'm hoping other games in the future do the same. The fact that a very successful gacha game doing what Hoyo couldn't in real time makes it feel so disappointing on Hoyo's end. Will any of this happen? Unlikely. But I love these games and I want them to improve. All I hope is that we see better in the future. Honkai Star announced some changes recently, so maybe we'll see some monetization changes.
Wait, what did Honkai Star Rail announce recently?
And as for Genshin...
the buffing of all characters, maybe?
Yeah, you guys are cooked.
Jesus.
Before you click off, I just want to say thank you for
Genshin
reaching the end of this video. This is my first video like this, so I apologize if it's not the best. But if you guys want more videos like these, then let me know. And any feedback is greatly appreciated. And if you enjoyed, I really appreciate you subscribing. This video took a lot of work.
I'll drop a sub, bro.